Now at 10, how the Mercy Health Foundation plans to stick it to cancer. Plus, how some area volunteers are lending their green thumbs for a Joplin museum. And how an area walk aims to raise awareness of missing and murdered Indigenous people.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The RISE Coalition today hosted a walk aimed at raising awareness of missing and murdered Indigenous persons. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Dow Quick. The walk was at Rotary Centennial Park in Miami, Oklahoma. Along the walk were missing persons posters featuring the photos and information of Indigenous people who have disappeared. Organizers say it's important to put a spotlight on these cases.
You know, Oklahoma is ranked second for the missing and murdered as far as across the U.S. You know, at some point we have to make it stop. You know, at some point we have to understand that Native American people are important just as much as anybody else, and that we're not here to be victimized.
Federal crime statistics show Native Americans are reported missing at a higher rate than the general U.S. public. More than 9,500 were reported missing in 2020. The Mercy Health Foundation is fundraising for the 7th year at their Stick It to Cancer event this Friday. KOAM's Yana Hautala talked with officials and a cancer survivor at Mercy Hospital in Joplin.
You know, we had the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. And to walk out and know that, well, nobody knows what the future is going to hold, but to know that this part of my life is behind me and hopefully it won't come back is a really good feeling.
Mary Johnson is grateful for the technology, caring staff, and quick care she received after she was diagnosed with a stage 2 breast cancer in November of 2021.
The technology and the ability to find out what I had so quickly, and it was like, I know time is of the essence when you have cancer.
Stick It to Cancer event helps patients like Johnson. Miranda Lewis, Vice President of Mercy Health Foundation, says their goal is to raise $275,000 by the end of the event.
Not one of us doesn't have a cancer experience, whether it's a loved one, like for me it was my mom, but everybody has a story. And what we're here to do at Mercy Health Foundation is to help draw that line between the donors and the patients and families that we serve.
This year, the foundation works towards another 3D mammography unit.
Both of the 3D mammography units that we have were donor funded. So this is just an opportunity to get to that third level, because there are more patients we need to serve.
Patients like Johnson will attend the fundraiser as well.
It's going to be a great time to honor our survivors and those who we've lost along the way as well, and to honor their memory.
This is going to help save more lives. That's the goal, save lives.
In Joplin, Yana Hautala, KOAM News.
Lewis says the campaign currently has more than 50 sponsors and community supporters for that event. Tickets to participate and sponsor the event are sold out, but individuals, of course, can still donate to the campaign. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy for a first look at the weather.
Well, we've been tracking scattered showers and thunderstorms really all afternoon into the evening hours, and this is going to continue as we go through the overnight hours tonight. 86, normal high is 81, record high is 94. On this date, and you can still see scattered thunderstorms. Some of these were strong. We had a couple severe ones actually earlier this evening, mainly just due to winds at 60 and some quarter-size hail, but still we have a few little guys out there. Eastern Jasper County cluster just east of Nevada, and these are going to flare up again as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight. Lower 70s right now. Most of us fairly calm the next couple hours, and then you can see these guys kind of flaring back up. Kansas, not really moving, just kind of slowly working their way off toward the east. And this is pretty much our forecast the next few days. Chances for scattered showers and thunderstorms. I'll give you all the details here in a bit.
See you soon. The Missouri Department of Transportation is giving drivers a heads up concerning some projects planned in southwest Missouri. Starting next Monday, Route 59, Route 76, and Route F will see resurfacing projects. Crews are adding an overlay of new asphalt, permanent striping, rumble strips, and new guardrails. There will be no signed detour, and traffic will be reduced to one lane. In Joplin, travelers on I-44 should be prepared for lane reductions on off-ramps. That's going to happen on Thursday and Friday from 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. Crews are making signal improvements as part of a paving project. The work will be on the eastbound I-44 at Exit 1, U.S. Route 400 and 166, eastbound and westbound at Exit 4, Missouri Route 43, eastbound and westbound at Exit 6, Missouri Route 43 and Main Street. And west of Jasper, MoDOT crews are going to close the Route H bridge for inspection next Tuesday. That's June 6th. It's over North Fork Spring River between Jasper County Route J and County Road 150. No signed detours are planned, and drivers are urged to find alternate routes. For a full breakdown of Southwest Missouri MoDOT projects, download the KOAM News app. The Missouri Highway Patrol says highway fatalities in the state over the holiday weekend are down a little from last year, but still the numbers are tragic. There were 314 crashes in Missouri over the long weekend, killing 10 people, down from 13 last year. Police also arrested 130 people for driving while intoxicated. On the water, there were 6 crashes involving boats, but none of them were fatal. There were also no drowning deaths reported. Missouri lawmakers have passed a bill which supporters say would fix laws that unfairly impacted minority communities. One provision in the bill would end the sentencing disparity that imposes the same penalty for selling an ounce of crack cocaine as a pound of powdered cocaine. Another would bar the courts from trying children aged 12 or 13 as adults, except for the very most serious violent crimes. Advocates say both laws have been felt most harshly in minority communities. The bill is currently awaiting Governor Mike Parson's signature. Both the White House and congressional leaders are rallying support for the compromise debt ceiling deal struck over the weekend. But opposition to the bill on the edges of both parties means it's going to need bipartisan support from Republican and Democratic moderates to get it through the House. The bill would raise the debt ceiling for 2 years. In exchange, federal spending would remain flat. Unused COVID relief money would be reclaimed, and there would be cuts to the IRS and new work requirements for some people on food assistance programs. With a possible House vote tomorrow, it means possibility of a debt default still isn't off the table. Reporter Joe McClain spoke to some Springfield, Missouri Social Security recipients who say they're worried.
Diane With is here at the administration building to pick up her Social Security check, which she says is vital.
Very. I don't get any other benefits, so.
When I asked her what would happen if those benefits were stopped or delayed,
I don't know what I'd do. I have no place else to go.
it's the same for Leland Patterson, a disabled veteran who relies on his recurring Social Security check. If Social Security benefits are delayed at all, what position does that put you in?
I ain't gonna be in a position, period. I'm gonna be without food, without everything.
The U.S. has never defaulted on anything. That is why most people around the world invest in our stock markets and buy government bonds, because we've never defaulted.
Sean Gallagher is a financial advisor and says he doesn't think Social Security recipients need to worry, as a default is extremely unlikely, and any deal that would be struck would not touch Social Security.
If you're really worried about your tight budget, take time to just sit there and look at it. There's got to be ways. Is there a way to save money? What's hurt people on fixed income the most is inflation right now. And there's really nothing we can do about that.
The U.S. debt default would more heavily impact the elderly, as nearly 9 out of 10 seniors get some sort of benefit from Social Security. And Social Security actually represents roughly 30% of the income that Americans over the age of 65 receive. Still ahead, why some area folks volunteer their green thumbs for the Joplin History and Mineral Museum. Plus, some kids in Girard, Kansas get out to have a little parade of their own. Joplin History and Mineral Museum is getting their hands a little bit dirty by bringing back native plant life to their own backyard. KOAM's Anthony Saviello has that story.
The Joplin History and Mineral Museum is digging into the roots of the past and telling the story of native plant species in Missouri. Christine Allgood has been leading this project and hopes to see it blossom into much more.
Our mission at the museum is education, and so like part of education is learning about your environment, learning about the area you grew up in, and this just seemed like a really natural fit to what we're trying to do at the museum, to teach people a little bit about the outdoor environment as well.
The museum also wants to bring attention to why more community members should be more inclined to utilize these plants in their own garden.
They don't take as much water, they don't take as much care, they support your native wildlife. It would benefit anybody that has any kind of lawn space to learn about these plants, just because they're so much easier to care for, less work, less chemicals.
This project has brought in both expert and community volunteers to help bring these plants to life. Volunteers such as Val Frankowski.
Missouri native plants were here before the Europeans came, so 250 years ago, and a lot of them have disappeared. This is a really exciting project to be part of because we're at a historical site, and the history of Joplin was prairie.
Not only have local volunteers come out and helped garden, but some local schools have also gotten involved in their own special way. The Carl Junction Art Department organized a mural on the south side of the building that took 27 hours and 45 students to create.
It was a massive undertaking, but it turned out so well. It's gorgeous, it's beautiful.
Baxter Springs and Joplin students made contributions of their own in the form of some beautifully painted benches. The museum continues to invite the community to be a part of this project and to explore the beauty that is Missouri plants and wildlife. Reporting for KOAM News, I'm Anthony Saviello.
All these beautiful plants are now on display for the public. If you'd like to volunteer, be sure to follow the museum on Facebook to get updates on when and where you can be involved. Some kids in Girard, Kansas had their own little parade. The Parade Palooza took place at Girard City Park for kids ages 5 years and younger. They got to bring their own rideable toys like trikes and scooters and bikes and strollers. They decorated them for a ride around the park. The parade was made possible thanks to the Greenbush Parents and Teachers program.
Yes, Parents as Teachers is an early learning program that is provided through area school districts. Almost all of the districts in this area participate. We work out of Greenbush and contract with the different school districts.
The Girard School District affiliate of Parents as Teachers sponsored the event. A little bit later, the Joplin Public Library asked for the public's help to find a missing piece of art.
Plus, scattered thunderstorms sticking around tonight and tomorrow. Those details coming up next. Well, it turned out to be a nice one for us today. High temps into the mid 80s. And then through the afternoon and evening, we've had isolated thunderstorms for some of you guys. Other guys, we've been dry as a bone. In fact, nice little video of a meteorite that just flew really from northeastern Oklahoma right on top of Joplin. So that was pretty cool to see. I only got to see the video of it. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course, just outside of Seneca, Missouri. All right, we still have scattered thunderstorms out there. Most of these are on the Missouri side. These are going to flare back up once again as we get a little bit later on tonight, but not as numerous as what we once had just a couple hours ago. One little guy just to the south of Mound City. Fort Scott, a couple little showers. Let's go a little bit farther toward the east. Pretty good cluster. Eastern Vernon County, over toward El Dorado Springs, Stockton Lake, all getting scattered showers and thunderstorms, and these all extend up toward Kansas City, but starting to get a little bit of redevelopment over toward Garnett. So these are going to start to flare back up once again later on tonight. Big batch of storms out toward the west. This is going to put little boundaries out, like little tiny cold fronts that will hit this area, and that will make those thunderstorms kind of crackle back up late tonight into tomorrow morning. But a weak little wave continuing to push through the region. We're going to have pretty much the same forecast each and every day this week. All right, let's go through time. 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, scattered thunderstorms trying to get going again. So at times tonight, you may hear some loud thunder or see a lot of lightning, but most of these storms will be moderate to strong. And again, they're going to be very scattered. Here's about 5 o'clock, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, scattered thunderstorms to start the day, and then they'll kind of fizzle down as we go through the morning hours and then fire back up tomorrow afternoon. Temperatures still sitting mainly into lower 70s at this point in time. We can go outside, 7th and range line. 73 east, southeasterly winds at about 5 to 10. Overnight planner, mid 60s. Those scattered thunderstorms to start the day. But again, the key here is scattered. Only about 30 to 40% of us will actually get rain tonight. The farther north you live, the better shot you have at your house to get showers and thunderstorms. As we get into the midday hours, partly cloudy skies, near 80, and then thunderstorms kind of pop up again. Late tomorrow afternoon into the evening hours, and then calm down once again tomorrow night. Once we get into Thursday morning, we'll see scattered thunderstorms trying to pop up again, especially as we get into Thursday afternoon. High temps into the mid 80s. So this is the trend really all week long. 65 in the morning, 82 by noon. High temp of 86, scattered thunderstorms in the morning, scattered thunderstorms late in the afternoon into the evening hours, and chances each and every day. 86 tomorrow, 87 on Thursday. We hold into the mid 80s all the way through the weekend, and rain chances sticking around all the way into early next week. None of these days are rain out, but definitely could be a little inconvenient for a couple hours as we head into the weekend.
Certainly need some rain.
We do need the rain.
Thanks, Doug. Joplin Public Library is asking for the public's help in finding a stolen piece of artwork. The library says the statue on their bronze bench outside their entrance, it was stolen over the weekend. It's a statue of a little boy and a little girl reading a book together. If you have any information on where that statue might be, please contact the Joplin Police Department. 9 people, including several children, are recovering from gunshot wounds in South Florida after shots rang out on the Hollywood Beach boardwalk last night. 3 of the victims have been released from the hospital. 6 others, including 4 children, were in stable condition at last report. Authorities say the gunfire erupted after 2 groups were involved in an altercation. Police say they now have 2 suspects in custody, but they're asking for the public's help identifying others who might have been involved. Officials in Iowa might be facing questions after a survivor was found in the rubble of a partially collapsed apartment building in Davenport. It's a full day after it was declared empty and ready for demolition today. There's concern more people might still be trapped. Davenport police are working to contact and account for all known residents of that 6-story building at the time of the collapse, but they've yet to reach some individuals. Still ahead, we're going to hear from the Joplin Outlaws as they prepare for Thursday night's season opener and all-state honors for 29 local high school baseball players. Jacob Leonard has that and more up next.
The Joplin Outlaws are just 2 days away from their season opener. The Outlaws host the Des Moines Prospects on Thursday night at Joe Becker Stadium in their first game of the season. The summer collegiate team definitely coming off a pretty successful summer last year. Outlaws won the Mink League South Division title last summer, went on to finish second in the league championship series. We caught up with the team today to talk about their season opener and the strengths of the team this season.
With me as an offensive-minded guy, I'm probably going to say that the offense is going to be our strength. We got a bunch of guys that can swing it well and put up good numbers for their school in the spring. But we also have some really good arms that are going to be pretty talented at the top of our rotation. So if they can play to their strength and their capabilities, we're going to have a good starting rotation. But we're going to have a very exciting offense this summer.
The 29 local high school baseball players have earned all-state recognition from the Kansas Association of Baseball Coaches. Columbus, Crest, and Fort Scott lead the way with 4 all-state selections each. Now, of the 29 local guys earning all-state honors, 9 of them have been first-team all-state selections. Now, in Class 3A, Columbus pitcher Seth Stover, first-team all-state pick. His catcher, Landon Midget, first-team all-state selection as a utility player. Also out of the CNC, Girard High School senior Alex Kester is a first-team selection at third base. Meanwhile, the Pittsburgh Purple Dragons have 1 first-team all-state pick and junior catcher Tucker Akins. Now, here are the other guys who have been named first-team all-state. From the Crest Lancers, pitcher Trevor Church and outfielder Rogan Weir are on the 2A first-team list. Class 3A, Humboldt gets a first-team All-State pick and outfielder Sam Hull. And finally, got a couple SEK kids here. Fort Scott pitcher Rocco Lafredo and Chanute first baseman Lars Custer, both first-team selections. If you want to check out the complete list of all 29 local players earning KABC All-State honors, you can check out the story on the sports page at KOAMnewsnow.com. The Kansas City Royals and St. Louis Cardinals finish up their quick two-game set tonight in St. Louis. Now, the Royals are trying to sweep the pair of games from the Cards after winning Game 1 last night 7-0. Kansas City also aiming for their third straight win. At the bottom of the sixth inning, Nolan Arenado up. Pulls this one into the gap and left. It's a double for Arenado. Scores Paul Goldschmidt to make it 1-0 Cardinals. Now, bottom of the eighth, get a little insurance. It's Nolan Gorman lifting one to right. Sacrifice fly allows Tommy Edman to come home from third. That makes it 2-1 Cardinals, and that was enough. Go to the ninth here. Cardinals end up with a strikeout. Royals not able to tie the game. St. Louis wins 2-1. So the Cards and Royals split their two-game set. And I know we had so many teams place state tournaments in high school baseball. The last week between that and the all-state teams, 29 local players, Southeast Kansas baseball is in good shape right now.
It sounds that way, maybe for some time to come. We'll be right back. Yes, there was a bright light in the sky. Yes, it was a bit mysterious. Yeah, it was kind of moving really fast. We saw it too. Our reporter Jalen Banks did from Cherokee County, Kansas, just before 10 o'clock news.
This evening. 9:55.
It was the southeastern sky. We were speculating that maybe it was a meteor, but we don't know this for a fact. But it appears it's more likely space debris.
Or something to do with SpaceX.
Right.
So,
CNN is reporting that some bits of SpaceX were re-entering the atmosphere this evening. Were expected to, and so perhaps we're guessing that that's what it was. But
cool,
at any rate, it was quite a sight. Huh?
I didn't get to see it in person. Got to see a video, but
it's a really cool video. People have called the newsroom and people have sent me posts on Facebook and Twitter. It's definitely a cool video. But for a second, I was like, I was moving way too fast.
Yeah, well, when Jalen Banks saw it, again, it was just before the 10 o'clock news tonight, he came back in real quickly and he wanted people to come out there and see what's going on, something falling from the sky. Again, we think it was space debris, but...
See, I deal with what's happening in the atmosphere, not what's flying into the atmosphere.
Right, so tell us what's happening in the atmosphere.
Scattered thunderstorms picking back up late tonight into tomorrow morning, and then again tomorrow afternoon. Just kind of hit and miss each and every day. Temperatures steady, mid-80s.
Final sports note.
The NBA Finals are set. It's the Miami Heat against the Denver Nuggets. Game 1 of that series will be on Thursday night.
Very good. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget the morning show starts at 5 a.m. Let's make it a great tomorrow.